just so you know.
Okay.
And you know a little bit about the interview from what I wrote in the emails, but basically it's just a chance for us to get to know the customers that are using Dimension and you know, understand your workflows and to see what your motivations are in learning the application. And there's no wrong answers, so that we're just here to learn about you. So
Gotcha.
yeah. Great. And I'm a product manager on the team.
Okay.
So it's my job to know what you need and then hopefully build it for you. So I really appreciate your time. Okay. So sorry, I'm a little rushed. I'm trying to get this so I can get to my next interview, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I just feel bad that you had to take so much time to set it up. I apologize. All right, let's get down to it. So, Manny, where do you live?
I live in Converse, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you like to do for fun?
I like to play with Arduinos, and I like to play with like Raspberry Pis and things like that.
Cool. So you're a techie maker.
Well, I guess.
Cool. Let's see. So what's your current profession? What's your title?
I am on my last year at the Art Institute here in San Antonio. I'm going for design and technical graphics. Pretty much like I like SolidWorks, anything that has to do with like part manufacturing and design for manufacturing, stuff like that.
Okay. So product design.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And what you said you're in your last year, is it a master's program?
No, it's a bachelor's. It's just
okay. Cool. And what brought you to want to study product design?
To be honest, it's not so much product design. It was that's just kind of how it felt. Like, to be honest, I didn't even know I was gonna do art or be in the art field. You know, I started with psychiatry and psychology and just and I just kept pushing myself, kept going, and I liked the fact that I was able to stay inside the lines. You know, so kept pushing it and turned out to be pretty good. So
cool. What do you hope to do as a job when you get out of school?
Well, to be honest, man, I'm a veteran. I'm a Marine veteran. To be honest, like every time I go to the VA, I see a lot of these guys. I know that the government stuff is not always the best, you know. So like always coming up with new ways for them to read or be able to like hold a magazine and stuff like that. My goal is to be able to one day serve them, you know.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, thank you for your service, and that's really noble objective there. Okay. So, wow, thank you. So tell me a little bit more about like some of the projects you work on in your program. Can you run me through like the last thing you had to turn in or present?
Sure. Well, I have like three of them I have to turn in by next week. So I'm working on some Revit files, some Autodesk. I'm working with some inventors, inventor files, and I'm they want us to use Revit and like I guess the add-ins that come in that program to do the rendering. But I was just clicking around stuff like always, and I found Dimension, and I just love the ease of use. You know, you just click, drag, and it does it. Not that it does it for you, but it kind of makes it more easy to understand, easy to follow, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. That's great. So you found us through the Creative Cloud downloader?
Yeah.
Cool. That seems to be a pretty standard answer for all of our users. So let's go back to the files you're working on. So you said Revit and Inventor files. What is the end product for those? Like what are you designing?
We're designing. We were tasked to design a. I guess it's that San Antonio is celebrating their tricentennial celebration, and I guess there is a local Boy Scout, Boys Girl, what's it called? Scout Girl team, or whatever that that is going to be sponsored by I guess an architect firm here in San Antonio, and they were tasked to build like 300 little libraries for different locations in San Antonio.
Oh wow!
So we're submitting our individual designs.
Okay.
Like that. So.
Wow. So that's going to be a lot of libraries. That's great. So the finished product, the project for you is designing your own library?
Designing my own library. I'm in a class with a bunch of like interior designers and different areas. However, I'm trying to use like Inventor and SolidWorks to do my exploded views and animations and stuff like that to do presentations.
Cool. Cool. So can you, so say the end product is you standing up and giving a presentation of your work. Can you walk me back through like from the start to the final, like all the steps that you take?
Okay, well, my design process goes a little bit like, I like to scout, kind of what is the mission, what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I like to look what everybody else is doing. I like to see what's been turned in. And once that happens, then I just start sketching. I start going at it in pencil, and then I'll ask around, and what do you think? What do you think? And a lot of reiterations, and then kind of throw it away and start with something else. Just I have a lot of those scenarios. But ultimately, it's like I go and check every other week with my instructor, make sure that I'm kind of like following. I don't like to be micromanaged, but I like to be, making sure I'm going the right way.
Got it. Okay. And then once you've got that pencil sketch solidified,
that's when you guys come in. I scan it and go into Photoshop and try to do the Illustrator thing. I guess I had a really hard after the military. I really had a big gap, I guess, in technology. Like I had a hard time catching up with like how it all worked. So like I guess shifting from different application to application, it was kind of a lot, but now it's starting to become a little bit easier.
Can you tell me more about that? Like, what are you talking about? The shift between Photoshop and Illustrator?
Yeah, it's like, for instance, like, they say that there's a million ways to skin a cat, so every instructor is going to have one, so what they teach us to do with Illustrator, you could do it in Photoshop. Or I guess that not knowing what you should be using kind of is where I'm coming from,
Yeah, totally. So what do you use Illustrator for then in this workflow we've been talking about?
For instance, I used Illustrator to do my logo, design my kind of like I like to do like animated GIFs and stuff like for my presentation. Like I'm not gonna do PowerPoint and stuff. I'm gonna use InDesign or Adobe Spark.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then so then if you're using, so tell me more about Spark. It sounds like it's a new product. So when did you pick that up?
I picked it up maybe about 2 quarters ago, maybe about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is like everybody likes to show up with like either PowerPoints or presenting their things from top of the table. I like to show my things from hanging or stuff like that. And when you're able to put a video and put the music on it, it kind of makes it more like a commercial instead of a presentation,
Mm-hmm.
So it's more people stay awake for them, that's for sure.
Yeah, so you stand out because you got Spark. Cool. When you so when you picked up Dimension, what were you thinking it did? Like what did you think it could do for you?
To be honest, like I just I thought it could model for you. Like there was that tutorial where they do the little where they insert a model for you, and So I thought it would be like something like Blender or something like that, where you can just start modeling, going at it, you know.
Had you used a lot of Blender in the past?
I'm starting to. I really like it. Yeah.
What other 3D software do you use?
I just Revit, Inventor, SolidWorks. That's about it.
And I'm curious how the 3D blends with your work in Photoshop and Illustrator. So we were talking about you scan your pencil design into Photoshop, and then you do some logo design in Illustrator. How do you combine that with the stuff you're doing in like SolidWorks and Revit?
I really don't have a way to combine, like, not yet. At least I'm not at a point where like I have my portfolio yet set up. I guess maybe that's when I'll incorporate that in there. But yeah, it doesn't, like, for instance, I was thinking, like, do I bring in, if I have a Revit file, can I bring it into Dimension? But I think Dimension only takes that object files, right? You don't need to,
OBJs for now. Yeah.
so I was like, well, how can I go around it? You
know. When you were talking about doing exploded views of things, how do you get that exploded view today?
I go through either Inventor or SolidWorks. And SolidWorks becomes a little bit. We have Inventor at school, and we've been promised SolidWorks, but it hasn't happened. Kind of just like trying to do it on your own, and it's just so much easier, so much user friendly than Autodesk. I really don't like. Not that I don't like. I have a hard time handling the Autodesk interfaces.
Yeah. You do have Autodesk at school though, right? Because it's free for students. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's talk about, do you do any rendering currently?
I am. This is my first quarter. I'm on rendering. I'm trying to render my views in Revit.
Okay. So you're using Revit for rendering.
Yes.
Okay. So with the tools you've got now, and your basic workflow to prepare for your final presentation, what's the biggest challenge in that whole workflow?
I guess, I'm not going to say procrastination, but I'm going to say, like not knowing, like, if the file like, one of my biggest problems I'm having is whenever I save my work at home, and let's say they have an like a outdated version at school, like, that's what they do. They have a 2015. I can't open my work. I'm worthless. So I lose a lot of every quarter. I'm against the wall with time. Trying to get everything done because of that compatibility between versions. Yeah.
And you're paying for your own license for your home seat?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. So when you're turning something in for school, is it it's a presentation, and what's in that presentation? It has the exploded views. What else does it have in there?
Well, it has me, like, I for the longest time, like, everything they tell you, like, oh, well, when you're in the real world or whatever, like, I've been in the real world, for a while now, and when you get there, they tell you, like, forget everything you learned about school, So I don't want that to happen, or I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, it has to have essence. Like, I try to, like, for instance, try to do projects that I kind of like identify with, and once I find that, it's easier for me to to give a good background, give a good analysis of my demographics, or where I'm coming from and why this is important. And then I'm just able to, my limitations right now, to present it any way I can.
Great. Would you mind sharing sharing an example of one of the projects you've turned in with me? You don't have to share it right now here, but just maybe sending it to me afterwards.
Okay, like an inventor file?
Well, I would love to see. Do you have one of your Spark pages you could share with me?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be perfect. So that'd be great. Okay, let me just review all my questions here. Okay, so let's talk about your hardware. What type of computer are you using?
Oh man, I'm using a dinosaur. Like I open it up and we fix it. It's a MacBook Pro. It's like early 2012.
Oh, okay.
So
that's more recent than the one I have at home.
all right.
And what other devices do you work on? Do you work on just your laptop or any other?
No,
surfaces?
I have a Windows 10 developer tower in my house, and just a bunch of Raspberry Pis, like the IoT thing. I started getting deep into that.
Cool.
So yeah, get lost in there.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff. I don't even pretend to understand it, but it's cool. So no sort of work on like a mobile device or anything like that.
You know what? Like I was, I had an iPad, but like you're very limited to what you can do, like especially for Inventor and SolidWorks, you know. So I'm trying to think about maybe getting like a Surface Pro, because I do need something where I could take not open up the thing. I could just sketch and get it out of the way, you know, quick ideas. So probably like a Surface Pro, something like that.
Okay. All right. And do you use any sort of like Wacom pen or anything like that, a tablet?
I have a Wacom Intuos.
Okay.
Wacom 2, yeah.
Cool. So we talked about it a little bit, but I'd love to know more about, what motivates you to learn a new software? Like when you saw Dimension for the first time, you thought it did something, but what were you trying to do with it?
Like, to be honest, like I have 3 kids, you know, I had a late start with school. I'm 34, you know, and like I figure like the way things are going, like if you don't learn this stuff, you're gonna get left behind, you know. Like I don't want to be like some of my family members that didn't want to move forward with the technology, you know. So
Yeah.
now they're suffering.
Yeah.
So I like to make the apps and like see how that comes to like how you're able to like dominate not only just the physical realm, but like a digital realm too, through your, you know, everybody's phone, you know. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Cool. And then how long, I guess, when you're learning a new software, are there certain things that, like, think about the ones that you've adopted most recently? Are there like certain trainings or ways you like to learn about it?
Yes, I like to just go at it for a couple of days, you know, like without any kind of like direction, kind of, and then just try to like from there based on what I pick, because I guess once you start modeling in 3D, you like all the programs are kind of similar in the way that they look. So once I get to a point where like I can no longer go, then I start looking for the help. You know, I go to tutorials, I go to a Pluralsight.
Sorry, did you say Pluralsight?
Pluralsight, yeah.
Is there anywhere else you look for tutorials?
YouTube.
YouTube, yeah. And let's see. Okay, so with Dimension in the workflow we were talking about, are you using it for rendering today?
I just came upon Dimension like 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool that you call it, it's pretty neat.
And I really appreciate you jumping on the study. That's awesome. So you're brand new to it, and where do you see it fitting into your workflow?
I do see it maybe like once I'm done modeling, like building my models, and maybe I export them. Maybe I'll do my scene and my rendering all in. That's kind of what I was trying to achieve with Blender, but I haven't gotten it that deep yet.
Okay. Yeah, and we do only take in OBJs as of right now, but there are some plugins for, I'm not sure about, I know there's one for SolidWorks where you can convert SolidWorks to OBJ. So I'll see if I can dig up that link for you and send it.
Okay.
So what do you like? You said you like most about Dimensions that it's easy to learn. Anything else come to mind?
I like the results that like pop, like the quickness of the rendering. Usually it takes a while. I mean, we have to send them to the cloud for Autodesk. So
Yeah.
being able to have an open rendering viewport there it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
You get to see right away what you're doing and how it's affecting the textures and your lighting and stuff.
Cool. And what's your pet peeve? What do you like least about it so far?
That I haven't touched it enough. To be honest, that you can't bring in your models, like SolidWorks and stuff like that I can't bring it in. But I know you guys are badass, so you guys
We're working on it. We're working on it. Well, I know you've probably already found our user voice forum, so as long as we know what you're voting for, we can work on it. Yeah, is there anything else missing from the app that you can see right away, like what you would want to have in there?
And not right now at the time, ma'am.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So let's see. I think yeah. So if there's specific file formats you'd want, they would be the ones for
like SDLRP, the SolidWorks extensions.
Okay.
What is it? What if they have that RVT or that IPT, or if we could can you bring in DWGs? No. The CAD? No. Just objects, right? For right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but, and also I really like the fact that when you install Inventor or when you install Revit, you have to install all these different I guess low resolution rendering materials and so it takes a lot of space and you don't know if you need that or you don't. So I really hope it's not like that with the Dimension. You bring in all that stuff.
No, I mean you've downloaded the package already. It's there.
So that's as big as it's gonna get.
Yeah. Cool. So, in terms of how you'd like Dimension to work with other Adobe apps like Photoshop or Illustrator, do you have any thoughts there? Like how you'd like that that workflow to go?
I really like the fact that you can use the libraries, so you could save your work, if you have to go or whatever, and then you can just pick it up in a different app. I've done that a couple of times, but just now this is the first time I have to do a rendering. I really want to try. I like to show up with new stuff, at least I try, that's the working thing. So I'm gonna try to show up with something with Dimension, so.
Okay, cool. And then, any other thoughts on if you're bringing a pattern into Dimension from Illustrator, like how you'd want that to work.
No, ma'am. I guess would it be saved on your libraries or like?
Yeah, it would, but you could bring it in like as a material
okay.
layer or something like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Like textures and stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not that deep into that.
Okay. Well, you keep us posted if you think of anything.
Okay.
So the only other things I wanted to know were like where do you go to get inspired? Like what kind of websites do you look at, or blogs, or social networks do you take part in?
I just go to Pinterest,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to hit the local library. I like to go to the libraries around the city.
Okay.
A lot of Pinterest, yeah.
Yeah. And on Pinterest, do you follow like certain people, or you just type in search terms and see what comes up?
I don't follow anybody. Like I follow like boards and stuff. I don't know if that's following people, but I follow boards.
Cool. What boards do you follow? I'm just curious.
Man, I never thought anybody would find out, but since I suck at dressing, like picking clothes, or like I go in there to try to like match my clothes,
That's awesome.
Yeah, things like that.
Nice. And then any social networks that you go to for either professional use or anything like that?
No, ma'am, I don't do social networks.
Okay. Okay. So I'm at the end of my big question list. Is there anything else you want to tell me about your experience with Dimension, or even just your career path as a designer?
I'd just like to know, how could I get a job with you guys?
There you go. That is the good question. There's a ton of postings all the time, so keep an eye out on the Adobe website, and then if there's job postings you are interested in, then just let our team know, and we're happy to make recommendations. And best thing to do is get the job number, and then send that along with the request with your portfolio and stuff like that.
What wouldn't you say, like, to get a little bit of experience out there, like get out of school, get like a couple of years? Is that how it works, like to get a job like out there? Or?
Yeah, well, I'm personally not on the design side, but yeah, usually at Adobe they take people that have had some experience. It's pretty typical.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, ma'am.
But any way we can be help, just let us know. And if you have any other insights about the application or anything, just let us know.
I sure will.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Manny. And I'll be sending you the gift card, and it would be great if you could send me that Spark page if you get a sec.
I was gonna ask you, instead of that gift card, is there a way that I could get like some Adobe stock picture credit or something?
I wish. We should be giving that, but I'm not allowed to.
Oh, okay. All
They're
right.
very particular about what
I see my boss is your boss. Okay. Okay.
I know. I wish. That seems perfect, right? But we're not allowed to give that away. So.
All right.
But good job for asking.
All right. Well, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.